Well, Sony's just pissed off the whole of the gaming community. So let's talk about it. So starting from January 2028, Sony are stepping away from making physical copies of games, and that has absolutely put an absolute arrow through all of our backs. Gaming as a whole thing will not be the same without physical discs. I'm sorry, but yeah, I understand people like playing games through digital purchases, but what people need to realize is if this happens and they don't make any physical copies, you got to think about the repercussions from people that can't afford these 80, 90 pound games, because that's what they will do. All these digital games, will skyrocket in price. They won't be the normal 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds or dollars. They will be £100 plus, for games. And that's scary to some people, or most people around the world, especially with the inflation of prices and the cost of living. People want to come home from a long day at work or school or college, and that they want to play video games. Gaming is a massive thing for people's day-to-day lives, and I think it's absolutely disgusting the fact that Sony have come out with this and pretty much said that everything's going to be digitalized. And I actually cannot believe it. I can't believe it. But we'll get into some of the issues in this video. I don't really make videos like this, but I felt like I need to make one of these, or not need, I want to make a video like this because I want people to sort of understand, and I think most people will get what I'm saying. But gaming is a massive thing for me. I've been gaming my whole life. I'm 28 years old. I started gaming when I was 4 or 5 years old with my older brother and my dad. We used to be, there's old recordings of us playing Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and the very old Final Fantasies on the PS1. Not even the PS1, the Nintendos, you got the SNES, you got the GameCubes, you got all of those different consoles. So I've been gaming for my whole life, and physical copies of games mean something to me, and they mean something to a load of other people out there around the world. And it's I can't believe that this is potentially happening. I'm really hoping Sony see everyone's sort of or hear everyone's voice about this, and just think about the backlash that they're going to get from doing this. But yeah, let's get into some of the points where I think people don't understand, with the fact that if these digital purchases are going to be the way about playing games, it's gonna really, really mess with the gaming community and businesses around the world. So yeah, in the video we'll get into different topics. So one reason that people like physical games is the fact that when you buy a physical game, you own that game. You own it until you sell it, until you give it to a friend. You own that game. But if you purchased the game through the digital store, you're not paying for that game. You might be thinking you're paying for that game, but realistically you are paying for the game, but you're not. You're paying for the license to play that game. So if that game gets delisted from the PlayStation Store or the server shut down, you will lose access to that game, and there is no getting that game back. Like, there is, if just say if a game comes out in, like, 2028 and it's on a massive hype, and then it just dies out of nowhere and the players' numbers go through the ground, and there's no saving the game. They'll be like, the gaming company that made said game will be like, oh, you know what, we're gonna turn off the servers, we're gonna switch this game off because no one's playing it. Like, the player numbers are as super low. Like, we're not making any profit from this, and that's what everything's about: money, greed. It's disgusting. And so if they choose to do that and shut that game down, you will lose access to playing that game. You are only paying for the license of that game. You are not paying for the game. So that's why owning a physical copy of a game is far superior to owning it through, like, a digital, marketing. Is the fact that with a physical game, you can let your mate borrow it. You can trade it into a store. You can put it on your shelf to collect. You can do so many things with physical games. Even if you don't play it for another 20, 30 years, that game will always be there to play. And it's just so mad and scary if this actually happens. But yeah, that's one of my first points on it. Again, moving on to the next topic that I wanted to make is the fact that collectors and retail stores are going to be hit from this massively. The fact that collector's editions, yes, granted, a collector's edition still might be a thing, but you won't be getting a physical game from it. You will literally be getting a little sheet of paper with a code. Then you put said code on your PlayStation to redeem that game, or to redeem the license to play that game. And that, in my opinion, that doesn't sit right. That's not true collecting, in my opinion, because hence why it's called a collector's edition. You get everything and you get the disc. And it's just, it's mad to think that so much is going to be hit by this. You got to think of what you get in, not even necessarily collector's edition, like steelbooks. Like, people that I know and I like to collect are steelbooks of games, and the fact that that won't be a thing, or it might be a thing, but what's the point in steelbooks? Because if you're paying for a steelbook, and if they're going to give you a sheet of paper with a code on it to redeem the code online to play to pay for the license to play that game, that steelbook is pointless, because there's going to be no disc in it. Who's going to want to buy a steelbook without the game? That doesn't make sense to me. But owning digital games, and just say if you're on your PlayStation and you go to your own games, like digitalized games, and you're scrolling through them and you're like, oh, I've got all these games to play. Yeah, they don't really feel the same as, like, holding all your games physical, likewise, and being like, oh, I've got all these games, like, this game is mine. It's just like, it's like with this, like, for instance, I got Bioshock, the collector's edition here. It's people, you're probably wondering why the price is on it still, but I like to keep the price on it. So when it's a really weird thing to sort of, like, own, not the game's not weird to own and collect, but, like, keeping the price of it on the game is, I don't think you can see it properly, but it should say, like, oh, you can't really see it, but it basically says Bioshock the collection, 2 disc, PlayStation 4 software, and it says £18, 18 British pounds, and holding this is like, Bioshock's one of my all-time favourite like game series, and holding this like is, it brings me joy. It really, really brings me joy. But let's just pop that there for now. But yeah, it really does bring me joy, and that I don't feel that joy if I'm scrolling through my, catalogue for my digital games on my PlayStation. It doesn't feel right. Another thing that I want to mention is the fact that some people around the world don't have super fast internet. So if you're paying for like a digital license to play a game, that game, there's going to be a lot going into that game to download. So you're thinking maybe like 100 like gigabyte game with, just say if you don't have great internet, that's going to take about 8 or 9 hours to install if you have really, really bad internet. And it's just, it's not ideal. But with physical games, you put a physical game in your PlayStation and it will install in like 20 minutes, maybe less time than that. Because obviously it's just taking everything from the disc and just rendering it into the PlayStation system. But if you're buying it through the digital store, it needs to basically download the whole assets of the game and like everything of the game. And if you really have bad internet, like that's going to really, really like affect you as well. There are, I don't like saying this, but there are some advantages of this happening. As much as I don't want this to happen, there are some advantages, and that is getting not necessarily early access to a game, but just say if there's a game that you want to play that's coming out and it will drop at 12 o'clock midnight and you can play it at that time. But if you purchase that physical game and you've bought from like, I don't know, Amazon or any sort of game retailer online, you then have to wait for that to be delivered to play, or you'd have to wake up the next day, go to a retail store, buy it. But obviously with the digitalized sort of market, you can pretty much buy that instantly. At the end of the day, granted, yes, we might be losing physical copies, which is like horrible, but it's not really about the discs. It's about the concept of owning that game. That physical copy is you owning that game. Like I've mentioned previously in the video, you buying something through like the digital market, you're only buying the license to play that game. You don't truly own that game, and that doesn't sit right with me. Like going back to it, I like to have a physical game on the shelf, because then I own that game. Another thing is preservation. Like people like to preserve their games, like collectors and stuff. They like to preserve games, like physical games, and the fact that that's going to be completely just thrown out the window. I don't know how like game collectors like myself and other people around the world are going to sit right with knowing we're paying for a collector's edition without a physical copy of the game. Because when we do eventually want to, sell it or keep it on the shelf for, just say, my children, when I'm long gone out this world, when my children, take all of my things or inherit all my things, like that, they will have that, and the fact that there's going to be no sort of physical game in that, and it's literally just going to be a sheet of paper with a code, which is basically a license for you to play that game, it doesn't sit right with me. It really, really doesn't. Sony really, really helped, meld the gaming industry, like what it is into today. So I really, really am hoping they don't absolutely turn their back on all of, you know, us gamers that matter, because without all of us gamers, Sony will be nowhere. They wouldn't be anywhere without us. So our voices and our opinions should matter. But unfortunately, the world is just ran by money. It's just greed at the end of the day, and it's not right. It doesn't sit right with me. But that's just my opinion on it. This video might have just come across like I was rambling, and it's quite hard to put into, you know, a script about this. Like I was sat here and I was trying to write my script from this, and like I couldn't write a script. Like, this is just all done from, you know, my head. Like I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling pissed off. I'm sad. It's really, really depressing for me. And I know there's some people out there that might just be like, oh, it's only, you know, it's not that much of a big deal. It's nothing. But it's not nothing. It's really not. And it's scary, because where are we going to be in 10 years time with gaming and the gaming industry? Because gaming companies are slowly pissing their fans off, and that is going to cause a massive wedge between the companies to the games and then to the fans, because they need to remember that it's the fans, it's the gamers that want to play the game. If the gamers didn't play any of their games, they wouldn't be where they are, like I said. So if you enjoyed this video, and if this has sort of like helped you understand the situation a little bit more, I might have been rambling on along in the video, because again, this wasn't scripted. This was just from my head, and just bang, it's literally me sitting down, me talking to the camera. So yeah, if I was like rambling on or stuttering, like, I apologise. Like, I don't really do videos like this, but yeah. So I appreciate everyone for taking the time out of their day to give this video a watch. Make sure you share this around to your friends, and just let's get our opinions shown to Sony that we're here to stay, and we're not just gonna roll over and just let them dictate, you know, where they want to put their money into, because physical games should be here to stay. They should be here. Everything, we shouldn't be giving in to all this digital market and stuff. Like, no. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop it a like. And yeah, I don't really do videos like this, so I do apologise if I've just been rambling or stuttering. This was all just me sitting here on the chair and just talking to the camera and just sharing my thoughts and feelings about the situation. So yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy.